Yes, the strongest comments yet from Josh Frydenberg last couple of days concerning the handling by Daniel Andrews of the Victorian situation. Inspired the Treasurer by the economic numbers out of Victoria, how dismal they are, and a declaration by the Victorian Premier yesterday that he could not come up with a definitive plan for how they come out of lockdown at the moment. Let's hear Daniel Andrews yesterday on that, then Josh Frydenberg blowing up today.
What we can be certain of right now, these case numbers are too high for us to open up, and they are still too high for us to put forward a definitive plan.
If these devastating numbers from Treasury are not enough to bring forward a definitive plan from Daniel Andrews, I don't know what will. This has to be the biggest public policy failure by a state government in living memory.
So Daniel Andrews then turns around today and says there will be a roadmap for reopening as early as Sunday.
Next Sunday, the 6th of September, we will announce the roadmap to ease the restrictions that we've all been living under. It is too early today to settle that roadmap.
And this federal versus state thing is just hotting up all over the place. Federal sources even acknowledge that the provision of JobKeeper is allowing states to keep state border closures to remain in place for longer than they ordinarily would. In July, after Mr Frydenberg told the New South Wales Treasurer Dominic Perrottet that there would be an extension to JobKeeper nationally, Mr Perrottet told Mr Frydenberg sure, but he hoped he knew that this would allow premiers to sit on their hands for longer and to keep their borders shut for longer. And that is exactly what has happened. Scott Morrison says he is determined to do something about this. At the National Cabinet phone hookup on Friday, Annastacia Palaszczuk got out ahead of him this morning.
Queensland will continue to have our borders closed to keep Queenslanders safe. I'm not going to be moved on this, so the federal government can throw whoever they want at that, or we can have Clive Palmer as well, but I'm not going to be moved.
So this is what the Dean of Law at the University of New South Wales, one of Australia's leading constitutional lawyers, George Williams, said about this in The Australian today. He wrote, the federal government could announce now that it will reopen the state borders. It could use its powers in the Biosecurity Act or ask the federal parliament to pass a special law. Either way, a national approach could be imposed over the objections of the states. The question is not whether the Commonwealth can intervene, Mr Williams writes, but whether it should intervene, and he outlined some political reasons it might not want to intervene. I asked Scott Morrison, Kieran, about this last week. He said it was constitutionally harder than overriding the Belt and Road Initiative, but some unequivocal advice from one of Australia's leading constitutional lawyers there. The capacity is there, he says.
It is.